Hello and welcome back. You're watching World News and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. The Polish Parliamentary Committee investigating the alleged use of spyware on political opponents by the previous administration has requested that the former justice minister be arrested and held in custody for 30 days. Throughout the morning, police attempted to bring former minister Zbigniew Ziobro in front of the committee but could not locate him. Finally, the politician appeared for a live interview at the conservative TV station Republika. The Pegasus Parliamentary Committee has ended today's hearing without questioning Ziobro. The committee investigates allegations that the previous government used advanced spyware against its political opponents. Former Minister Zbigniew Ziobro was scheduled to be questioned at 10:30 a.m. local time. After Ziobro's repeated refusal to appear at the questioning, a court ordered that he be forcefully brought to the hearing. Following today's TV interview, Ziobro was escorted to the parliament by the police. By that time, the committee had already ended the hearing and requested Ziobro's arrest. Under the previous administration led by the Law and Justice Party, Ziobro served as Poland's justice minister and public prosecutor general. EU justice ministers have gathered in Warsaw, Poland to discuss challenges to the rule of law and their impact on the principle of mutual trust between EU member states. Polish Justice Minister Adam Bodnar is in attendance. EU justice ministers will discuss ways to strengthen enforcement of sanctions on Russia, particularly expanding the role of the bloc's prosecutor. They will also discuss possible further EU actions on gathering evidence on Russian war crimes in Ukraine. The gathering on Friday follows Thursday's meeting of interior ministers who discussed migration and security. We are operational in Poland, said European Chief Prosecutor Laura Korduta-Korwezi during an interview for TVP World. This comes after Poland officially joined the European Public Prosecutor's Office in March of 2024, following a proposal by Adam Bodnar in December of 2023, shortly after he had become Poland's Minister of Justice.
I think the most important achievement is that the EPPO zone now it's enlarged, and I think this is also a big achievement for Poland, because with EPPO, everything will be safer, faster, and more efficient. And I think the Polish citizens will be more protected, because I have been a prosecutor for more than 30 years, and I learned one thing, that the security starts in the street. And nothing is more important than security of the citizens. And what EPPO is doing, one of the main scope of us and one of the main enemies of us is the organized criminal groups. And I learned that there is no clean country, and Poland is not protected from this perspective. And we already saw this in our activity in EPPO, because in the last 3 years in our investigations, we saw connections, for example, with VAT carousel fraud. But behind VAT carousel fraud, all the time, there are very, very serious criminal organized groups involved, very bad people, bad criminals, very violent. So I think this is a good news for the citizens of Poland.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has issued a stern warning threatening to block the European Union's next renewal of sanctions against Russia unless Brussels takes action to resume Russian gas transit through Ukraine.
Ukraine is not willing to let Russian gas through its territory so that it could reach Central Europe, and with this, it raises the price of gas that leads to price increase of everything. This is unacceptable. Therefore, we had no other choice but to say very seriously and strictly that if they do not change this decision, then we will scrap the sanctions. One country can do that.
During the Senate confirmation hearing of candidate for Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard, she was questioned about her opinions on the war in Ukraine. Senator Michael Bennet from the Democratic Party said during the hearing that some of Gabbard's previous statements align with Russian propaganda.
Moment that Russian tanks were rolling across the peaceful border of Ukraine for the first time, you tweeted at 11:30 p.m. your time, "This war and suffering could have easily been avoided if Biden administration / NATO had simply acknowledged Russia's legitimate security concerns regarding Ukraine's becoming a member of NATO. Did you say that, yes or no?
I believe you're reading my tweet, Senator.
Yes is the answer. We're the Senate. We get to decide whether we're going to confirm this nominee. Obviously, we didn't select this nominee. But can't we do better than somebody who doesn't believe in 702? Can't we believe that somebody who can't answer whether Snowden was a traitor 5 times today, who made excuses for Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, the first time that I'm aware of any American official has done that? I'm questioning her judgment. That's the issue that's at stake here.
Terrorism cannot be left unpunished, said Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, commenting on Russia's missile strike on the city of Sumy in Ukraine's northeast. He also called on the international community to continue their support for Ukraine as a response to Russia's attacks on the civilian population.
Every hour, there are updates on the situation in Sumy, where work is still ongoing at the site of the Russian Shahed strike. A regular residential building has been destroyed. 9 people have been killed. My condolences to their families. 13 people have been injured, including a child. All necessary assistance is being provided. I want to thank each rescuer, each medical worker, and all the police officers who are helping. This is already a typical signature move of Russia, destroying the lives of many families, an entire building. Every such Russian strike requires a response from the world. Terrorism cannot be left unpunished. The most effective response is to support our people, our state. We must maintain pressure on Russia and not fall for Moscow's manipulations, whether political or in the media. We need to force Russia into peace. The cause of this war lies with Russia.
Nearly 1.2 billion euros in military aid to Ukraine. That's the largest support package Stockholm has pledged to the war-torn country since the full-scale Russian invasion almost 3 years ago. The country also aims to further bolster Moldova with financial aid.
In this package, we are also financing Ukrainian investments in long-range systems, both long-range drones and long-range missiles, which they have requested. It is not only Ukraine that is in a very vulnerable position, but also Moldova. Moldova has relatively recently gone through an election and is exposed to various types of destabilization operations by Russia. There is a great need for both civilian and military support, not least to build a stronger resilience against these hybrid operations. What we are also seeking parliamentary authorization for in this bill is that we should be able to donate armored shells to Moldova to a value of 13 million.
The German Bundestag will hold a debate on Friday about the influx limitation law, a key piece of legislation proposed by the conservative CDU-CSU bloc. The law, which aims to curb illegal immigration into the country, is expected to pass in the lower house with the support of the far-right AfD party. The law also aims to end family reunification of migrants under subsidiary protection. That is when people receive limited protection in Germany but do not qualify for asylum. It will also grant German federal police the authority to detain people due for deportation and to initiate custody measures, as well as further powers to deport migrants at the border. If the bill passes the Bundestag, it will still need approval from the Bundesrat, the upper house, to come into effect. For the second evening in a row, thousands of people gathered in front of the Christian Democratic Union party headquarters in Berlin on Thursday. People in Berlin and other large cities in Germany have been protesting the recent Bundestag partnership between CDU-CSU and the far-right Alternative for Germany to pass stricter immigration measures. The CDU had asked employees of its federal headquarters to leave the building earlier as a precaution before the demonstration started. According to the Berlin police, 4,000 people were registered to participate in the march in the German capital, and an additional 2,000 more attended the protest. Demonstrations also took place in cities like Munich, Dortmund, Dresden, and Hanover. The last one saw 7,000 Germans gather in a peaceful protest supported by the SPD and the Green parties. New polling data has revealed that nearly half of Danes now view the United States as a threat, and 3/4 oppose the sale of Greenland. The research by YouGov comes after weeks of tensions between Denmark, Greenland, and the U.S. over Donald Trump's repeated assertions that he plans to take control of the autonomous territory, which is part of the Danish kingdom.
The YouGov survey found that 46% of Danes believe the US poses a very big or fairly big threat, surpassing concerns about North Korea or Iran. 78% said that they would oppose Greenland being sold to the US, but 72% said the final decision should be Greenland's, not Denmark's. An opinion poll published earlier this week found that 85% of Greenlanders did not want the territory to become part of the US. The Arctic island is home to 57,000 people, and it is an autonomous territory of Denmark, though its foreign and security policies are controlled by Copenhagen.
U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened BRICS member countries with 100% tariffs to dissuade them from replacing the U.S. dollar as reserve currency. Trump delivered a similar warning weeks after winning the November presidential elections.
The idea that the BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We are going to require a commitment from these seemingly hostile countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful US economy. They can go find another sucker nation. There is no chance that BRICS will replace the US dollar in international trade or anywhere else, and any country that tries should say hello to tariffs and goodbye to America.
And so this marks the end of our news service, but please do stay tuned here on TVP World. We're back in just a moment with more news and features.